back to my channel and welcome to another Momtober video. So I decided to switch things up a little bit today and I decided to give you guys some game day appetizer slash meal ideas. I only say slash meal because Ramsey and I totally turned this into a meal one night for us because it was a lot of food and we ended up not even wanting dinner. I threw together 3 different recipes that are a staple here in the Bruce home. The first is a Trader Joe's lentil and bruschetta dip. It's so easy to put together. You just do it in the morning. You don't even have to do it right before while you're prepping all the other stuff. So definitely a go-to for our house. The second is going to be a recipe from the Magnolia Table Cookbook, Volume 2. And we made the pretzels with cheese sauce. Now this is the first time I've ever made pretzels before and I was shocked how delicious they were. They were kind of tough to make, so plan ahead, make sure you have time to make them. I do want to do them again in case I messed something up and try them out again, but the flavor, oh, they were delicious. So we did salted pretzels with cheese sauce, and I also decided to switch things up a bit and do a sugar and cinnamon sprinkled pretzel as well, which was a good idea because it was kind of like a little dessert at the end, you know? And then for our third appetizer, I just did the all basic vegetable platter, except I just made it a little more football themed because we were sitting down to watch a football game, but you could do a round plate with baseball or basketball or whatever you want to do. So those are the 3 appetizers we picked. I hope you guys enjoyed this little change up video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. All right, let's get to the recipes. All right, starting with our first dip, it is going to be Trader Joe's lentil and bruschetta dip, and it's literally one of the easiest recipes, but it's not the prettiest. So you just buy the already pre-made lentils at Trader Joe's like you see here. I'm just scooping them into a bowl, and then you also purchase their bruschetta dip, which is so garlicky and delicious and yum, and you just mix them together in a bowl. And I find that mixing them just first thing in the morning before the game is perfect because then the flavors just have time to sit and marinate with each other. And then come game time, you can serve them with the pita chip like I have behind that bowl, or you can just do regular tortilla chips or crackers, whatever kind of chip or dip you like. And then you just put them in the fridge and let them cool until you are ready to serve them. All right, moving on to our next recipe for our good game day snack, pretzels with cheese sauce. So I was going to only do pretzels alone, and then I decided to do pretzels and cinnamon pretzels, and then I decided to actually make the cheese sauce. So I highly recommend the cheese sauce with these pretzels, so watch till the end so that you can see the cheese sauce being made. But here I am making the pretzel base for both the salted pretzels and the cinnamon sweet pretzels that I'm going to make. I will say this isn't as easy as that first recipe. It is a time-consuming recipe, so try to plan ahead a little bit if you can, but the payoff for how delicious these turned out is well worth it. I can't wait to make these again just so that I can perfect the recipe. Okay, so while you are watching me make these pretzels, I figured I could just read off a list of the ingredients. So you're gonna need 2 1/4 ounce packets of active dry yeast, a 1/2 cup plus 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 3/4 cups of warm water, 5 cups of all-purpose flour plus more for rolling, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil, cooking spray, 1/3 cup of baking soda, 4 cups of boiling water, 1/4 cup of Maldon or other flaky type of salt, 1/2 cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter, and you're gonna need that melted. And then the cheese dip I will read for later. And then for the sweet cinnamon sugar ones that I'm gonna make, you're going to need 1 cup of sugar and 3 tablespoons of ground sugar. Although I would cut that in half, the sugar and cinnamon, I mean. So once you mix the dough all together, you have to let it rise for at least an hour. She actually specifically says about an hour, and you want to let it rise in a warm place. So I just put it in the oven with the light on, and unfortunately this day is the day that Briley got sick. So the dough rose for about 2 hours because we ended up doing bath time and I just spent the time with her. So I'm not sure if that had anything to do with anything, but it rose for 2 hours this day. As you can see, it got pretty big. After you let it rise, turn the dough onto a lightly floured surface and then divide it into 16 equal pieces, which are about 2.5 ounces each. Due to time, I just went ahead and measured them on my scale, and it came out to exactly 16 pieces, which was pretty awesome. Pregnancy problems. So then it says roll each piece into 24-inch long rope. Well, I missed that part, and I went ahead and made this boiling water baking soda mixture that you're supposed to make a little bit later. So make sure you do follow the recipe. I highly recommend this book. I think you can get it at Target. I'll link it below. You guys can pick it up. There's plenty of recipes that I've made out of it that I love. I was super shocked, you guys, with how hard this dough was to roll out. So I'm not sure if it's because I let it rise for 2 hours or what, honestly. I struggled, and I also wouldn't use as much flour as I used. I thought the dough was going to be a little more sticky, and I'm used to baking, but just not pretzels, so I wouldn't put as much dough on your surface as I did. And plan ahead for rolling these things, because it was a struggle for me. My hands were tired after. As you can see, I keep looking in the book being like, did I miss something? Because these are hard to roll. So that wasn't anywhere close to 24 inches long, but I was so anxious to try and see if I could get it to work that I just was playing around with it, and I made do. I don't think any of them got to 24 inches long, but after you get them to the length and the size that you want, you dip them in the baking soda boiling water mixture, and then you put them on the cookie sheet and you sprinkle them with your salt. I just used kosher salt because it's all I had, and it worked out just fine. I do recommend just making these all ahead of time and then going and doing that, because it was just much easier to just have them all made. As you can see, like I said, they are not 24 inches long, but I struggled, you guys. I know speeding it up makes it look so fast. All right, so this was the first batch of pretzels that I made. As you can see, I salted all of those. So then I put them in the oven, and I do recommend putting them on the rack in the middle of the oven. This rack was more to the top. So as you can see, I took it out and then I put them back in, but on the bottom, so they could cook on the bottom a little bit longer. I think it was like 2 to 3 minutes longer. So it was a total of 8 to 10 minutes. I can't remember, I'm so sorry. So then now we're on to batch number 2, which are going to be the sweet cinnamon sugar pretzels, because I felt like we had enough of the other ones for just the 2 of us. We didn't have anyone coming over for this game, so we didn't need a ton of them. This time I rolled them all first and then I dipped them all, but you don't sprinkle them with salt this time. And then here's Sweet Riley helping me clean up, if you want to call it that. I think she made more mess than help, but you know what? She's cute. All right, and then once the pretzels come out of the oven, then you go ahead and butter them. These are the salted pretzels that I'm buttering right now. I do recommend buttering them right before serving. I buttered them when they came out like they had said, and
it kind of sat on them, and it would have just been better if I did it right before serving. So that's what I recommend. Now when the second batch came out of pretzels, I buttered those right away, and then I sprinkled them with the cinnamon sugar mixture. At first I dipped them in it, and you can kind of see how dark this one came out. It was very messy looking. It wasn't pretty. So then I was like, okay, we'll try dipping it in butter, then dipping it in there. That was messy. So I went ahead and just sprinkled them on with my hand, and it was plenty of cinnamon sugar. Wasn't too much, and it was much prettier. As you can see, they got better and better. And it was about that time that Ramsey talked me into making the cheese sauce for the salted pretzels, and I'm so happy I did. It really made the pretzel. So for that, you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1/4 cup of flour, 2.5 cups of milk, 6 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature, 4 ounces of cheddar cheese grated, which is about a cup, 2 ounces of Gouda cheese shredded, which is about 1/2 cup, 2 teaspoons of whole grain mustard. I just used Dijon because that's really all I had. 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I also used regular paprika because I'm not the biggest smoked paprika fan. 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. And it was so delicious, you guys. You just melt the butter, add the flour, add the cheeses, add the mustard, add the spices, stir and enjoy. All right, moving on to the third and final quote-unquote recipe. It's just chopped veggies. As you can see, I just tried to make them a little bit more bite-sized. I just showed you a broccoli, and it was a little big, so just make sure you make them a little smaller so that they're easier to dip and they're not, you know, someone's not gonna get overwhelmed by this big piece of broccoli or celery or whatever you make. So you just chopped your veggies of your desired choice. I this day used broccoli, celery, cucumbers, and carrots. Again, it's just the 2 of us, so I wasn't trying to go too crazy. And I just kind of positioned them on the tray to kind of form a football of some sorts, but you could outline the carrots and tomatoes if you want to add tomatoes to this board. You can really play around with anything. You don't have to do carrots in the middle. Some people like mushrooms or cauliflower, or whatever you decide to do, but it comes out super cute and super festive looking. But you always need something fresh and crisp like this. You can add a dip. We had a ranch right there, and it just it helps tie everything together. So here's that lentil dip. As you can see, it's not the prettiest, but oh, the taste is so delicious. And then these pretzels, as you can kind of see the butter like dried into them a little bit. Again, I would do the butter right before serving or putting them out on a tray, but they were delicious. And then to tie everything off, something sweet. Cinnamon sugar pretzels were just so good.
You guys, I hope you enjoyed watching those 3 recipes. As you can see, the first and the last recipe were super easy. Pretzels did take a bit, but they were so worth it. I highly, highly, highly recommend making those for your next game day appetizer. They were so good. I would even try them as like pretzel bites, like just roll them into one big long line. Just roll them into one big long line and like cut them into little dip sizes. Like 1 inch little dip sizes, but as you can hear, Riley's having fun. Alright, that's gonna be it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said before, if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It does really support my channel. Also, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss my next Momtober video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Bye guys.
I'm coming home to